Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Warning: this video will contain spoilers for the 1987 TV series, Max Headroom, starring Matt Frewer. It may also include discussions and/or images of violence, sexual situations, and drug use. Viewing beyond this point is a choice you have made, and you take responsibility for that choice. Thank you, and please have a nice day.
Hello and welcome to this video. I hope everyone is doing well, hope everyone is having fun, and I hope the universe is treating you fairly. Almost stumbled over the word there. Forgot it. Actually, I forgot what the word was, but you know, my little pea brain. Today's video, we are going to be talking about one of my all-time favorite just 80s go-to nostalgia shows, and that's Max Headroom. Or just generally, to more correctly frame this video, the whole Max Headroom phenomena as I remember how I experienced it in the 80s. The Max Headroom started out in Europe, in England, I believe. It's kind of this computer-generated host of music videos. Matt Frewer, Frewer, was tapped to do the show, to be Max Headroom. The thing is, the computer technology had not reached the point of what they were trying to present. What they were showing was more advanced than the computer technology they had at the time. So Max Headroom was all in-camera practical effects. The character was originally created by George Stone, Rocky Morton, and Annabelle Jankel, Jankel, and the growth, the popularity. He was imported to America as the spokesman for Coca-Cola. Did a bang-up job there. Was really, that's my earliest memories of him, is the Coca-Cola salesman. And that there's something, just being a comic book nerd and a computer nerd. I had TSR-80, a really good friend of mine, still a good friend of mine, still a really great dude. I sometimes question the reason why he still likes me, but, well, especially growing up, why he liked me, but for better or for worse. But he had the TI-99. Then he got a Commodore, and when he got a Commodore, that was just the greatest computer on the planet. And this is what Max Headroom. This is, we're teenagers, 14, 15, 16 years old. You have this Max Headroom thing going on, just being consumed by that computer. Then you had the comic books. You had computers and comic books that were super advanced, super intelligent, and reading Heinlein's The Moon is a Harsh Mistress sometime in that time frame in my life. Just so the whole Max Headroom thing was just this thing, and it was viral. Went viral across the United States, and this is before the public internet. This is before the internet as we know it now. This was a viral sensation, an analog viral sensation. Then we got the show. Oh, I love the show. It was one of those shows. I like it now because it just drips and oozes and has a sweet 80s nostalgia to it. It's just the plot of the show was you had Edison Carter, played by Matt Fuhrer, who was investigating a dubious company, and they try to kill him. His likeness gets downloaded into a computer, and the computer creates Max Headroom. The name Max Headroom comes about because the last thing Edison Carter saw before he hit was the hit. He was coming out of a parking garage and had the little thing that comes up. Well, theirs was jointed, kind of had a joint in the middle, but and the last thing he saw before he hit that was the words Max Headroom, and that somehow imprinted into the computer program. Fuhrer was actually, like I said, he was actually playing both roles, and he had to do the prosthetics and all the craziness. It was intense. It was an illusion of a CGI character, what we take for granted now. I mean, with our CGI characters, our CGI technology now, this to kids now, to a 15-year-old kid now, Max Headroom probably is just some antiquated garbage thing, whereas for us growing up, that was the future. That was the and I can't, and I mean, if you to be honest, to be 100% honest with you, if you strip away the nostalgia factor, it's probably not as good as I think it is. To look at it, objectively, it's crazy. It's probably not all that, but for me, as a child of the 80s, child of Reaganomics, the show was that thing. It was just massive thing for me. In fact, Max Headroom spawned in the Gary Trudeau comic Doonesbury, he parodied Max Headroom with the character of Ron Headrest, which was also a parody of Ronald Reagan. It was this fusion parody of Ronald Reagan and Max Headroom, and it was great. If you like stuff, if you like good parody, I would say go back and look up these 80s Doonesbury comics. Well, Doonesbury comics in the 70s and 80s is probably Gary Trudeau at his best. Doonesbury at its best. So the Ron Headrest cartoons are wonderful. Just these awesome things. Then you had the not so great side of Max Headroom. Yeah, on November 22nd, 1987, in Chicago, Illinois, you had a pirate who broke into the Signal. Was wearing a Max Headroom mask and sunglasses. He hijacked the Signal. Actually happened twice. It was during a Doctor Who. Well, actually, it's one of my favorite Doctor Who episodes of Fang Rock. Because it had this companion of Leela, who was one of my favorite Doctor Who companions because she has no fucks to give. But it was during this particular Doctor Who episode. First time it got broken into, it was for about 25 seconds. The second time was about 90 seconds. And it is just crazy. Hopefully I remembered, and while I'm talking about this incident, somewhere here or maybe above my head, there's the video clip of it playing. There's a really good video that was put on YouTube that I downloaded, and the person who did the video did a really good job in the video. What I'm doing now is I'm looking horror at Fang Rock. Yes, the Doctor Who series. I knew it was Fang Rock. I need to go back and start watching some of my classic Doctor Who. But the guy who did the video, who put it up, hopefully if I was smart enough when I edited the video, I left the person who did the video, who painstakingly went through and put subtitles on for us. That works. I mean, the video may be over by now, but so yeah, that was the kind of the downside of the Doctor Who, or not the Doctor Who, the Max Headroom. Now, this was also in the 80s. There were other people breaking in, had figured out that you could go to Radio Shack. For those of you that are old enough to remember Radio Shack. Those of you who don't remember Radio Shack, it was a kind of a generic pieces, parts, electronic store. You could buy individual components and build things. And people figured out how to build things like jammers for TV signals, or how to break into TV signals just from, you know, $10-15 worth of components at Radio Shack. And this was this era. There was, I believe it was a football game. It may have been the actual Super Bowl. One of the channels where the people broke in and played a porn movie. And there was a whole lot of people that were doing stuff, that had that had their VCR set up to record the particular thing. Came home and they had porn. Now the FCC has ways to combat it. They have better encryption now. It's harder to break the encryption on the signals. So yeah, we don't get that. But you know, the Max Headroom incident was a one of a kind thing. It's the one that everyone remembers. People don't remember a lot of the other ones because a lot of the other ones were, like I said, you had the one where they played the porn movie. You had it was just crazy. And to the best of my knowledge, the person who did the break-in or hijacked the signal has never been caught, which is kind of crazy. And yeah, this is one of those things, one of those shows that I would really highly, highly recommend. Somebody from the 80s that, if you haven't already seen, if you're grew up in the 80s and you didn't like it, you probably still don't like it. Now, if you're a nostalgia hound or a nostalgia addict, or you're younger and you want to know what your parents and your grandparents liked back in the day, check it out. It is, the show is great. I mean, I will tell you straight up that the plots of the shows, if you don't think about it at all, are good plots. If you put the least amount of energy possible into thought on the plots of these shows, they fall apart. But it's 80s TV. It's 80s nerd TV. It's kind of cyberpunk. And it's a good show. It's worth watching. And I highly recommend it. So, until next time, everybody, remember to be a good human, to be good to other humans. Peace.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?